break it down. I'm gonna break it down. I'm over here though. That way the phone don't hit out. But first and foremost, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashe, Hawashai, Bashe, Gosh, and double honors to the bishops and apostles of Great Millstone and Tommy the Truth. So another weekend we got doing this work. Today we're gonna get straight into it. Start breaking down Isaiah 47. Right, which when you go into Isaiah 47, okay, the header says, find it. Isaiah 47. The header at the top says, God's judgment upon Babylon. Right, so if you have any type of wisdom, prophetic knowledge, you know that Babylon is talking about America. So, start at the top. 47 and 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the beings, for thou shalt know, or be called tender and delicate. Right, and that's straight to the point of the Most High, saying, hey, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Talking about the ground. Right, the Most High has prophesied that this kingdom is going to fall and it's never going to get back up again. That no matter what these presidents, whatever laws and legislation they pass, nothing is going to make America great again, as they say. The precept of that is get Jeremiah chapter 50 or Jeremiah chapter 51, and it talks about bombs for her pain. Because that's the thing with these prophecies, is that every single prophecy is going to take place, and one of the biggest prophecies is that Babylon the Great is going to be burned by fire. Right? Every single prophet has talked about this specific event. Every single one. Okay, so this is a giant event that it 100% is going to take place. Jeremiah says, take balm for her pain, so she may be healed. It's Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 8.
Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, and so she may be healed.
Right, going into how this place suddenly is going to fall. Now, when you go read Revelation chapter 18, it talks about how in 1 hour, great riches have come to naught. And that every shipmaster, all the nations over there in the Red Sea, they're pretty much going to be crying, and in shock. They're going to say, wow, hey, Babylon the Great, we never thought this would ever happen, but here it is. This place just got nuked. In 1 hour, all this is going to fall. And the way it's going to fall is thermonuclear missiles, ICBMs. You can literally go right now on Google and search up how long does it take for an ICBM to go from Russia to America, and they'll tell you literally in 30 minutes. So, everything lines up when you do the research.
You got a lot of people out here knowing, preparing for doomsday ever since the Cold War and nuclear bombs have been made known.
Yeah, there's a ton of channels that constantly go over, people who call themselves doomsday preppers. You got this guy, Dabu. It's basically a bunch of pretty much fear. And the thing about that is that they don't even know what they're looking for. If they knew the prophecies, they'd understand that all that, prepping is not going to do anything. So, did you read a nice verse
Of Isaiah?
Jeremiah?
Your cheeks are getting red. Oh.
Yeah. Jeremiah 51:9. We would have healed Babylon.
Speak louder.
You have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. For save her and let us go, everyone, into our own country, for her judgment reaches up to heaven and is lifted up even to the sky.
Right? So it says Babylon, but she is not healed. Going into how, no matter, like I said, all the laws and legislations, policies that all these presidents try to pass, nothing is going to make this place back to what it used to be 40 years ago. Now, this is prophesied to go down. So, let's go back to Isaiah 47.
Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Right, and that's going into Yahweh Shai. Okay, when Yahweh Shai comes back, okay, you can read in Acts the 1st chapter, it goes into how, he left on a cloud. And the disciples were astonished. And the angels told them, why are you marveling? Right? For the same way he left is the same way he's coming back. Right? He's coming in a cloud in the angelic body. Okay? You can read that in 2nd Ezra 13 about how, in one moment he's going to shoot electricity wind out of his mouth, and he's just going to destroy all these armies in a second. Ain't no normal flesh is going to be able to do that. That's the supernatural. Those angelic bodies. So when he comes back, he's not going to meet, these people here as a man. He's coming to render that judgment, that vengeance. And it says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. Right, and that's going into how, all the lies, deceit, that America has pushed forward, it's all being discovered today. Right, search up the covering cast. I think that's what it is. Covering.
Covering cast.
Right. Isaiah 25 and 7.
Isaiah 25 and 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations.
Right, and that covering cast, okay, a covering cast is going into pretty much hiding something. Okay, and when it's called, reread that again.
And he will destroy in the mountain.
Right, this mountain, when you go into the scriptures and read mountains, okay, mountains is symbolic for governments. It's not talking about an actual mountain. Same thing with hills. Hills would be a smaller government. Right, so he's going to destroy in a government the covering cast that is spread over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations, going into the lies and the deception that, hey, this government is pushing forward. All that today is being revealed. That's why I think it's 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, where it talks about how, the wicked was going to be revealed, the son of perdition. All that is, linking together is happening right now. So, let's get back to Isaiah 47. That's what it means by thy nakedness shall be uncovered, and thy shame shall be seen. Okay, this government is being exposed for the true wickedness, that it is doing.
As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent, and get thee unto darkness, O daughter of the Chaldees, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms.
Right, and that right there shows you, that this place is the real dominating factor, power in the world. Right, it says here that Babylon is the Lady of Kingdoms. Okay, at the top of the top. Right, you can also read that in Revelation. I think it's chapter 20. When it's get Revelation chapter 20, like the last verse. Or Revelation 17, I mean. It's Revelation chapter let me search it up. It'll be faster. Can't find it off the rip.
Revelation 17:1, and there came one of the seven angels, which he had the seven vials, and talked to me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
Right, so that great whore is going into Babylon the Great America. Right, what does it mean sitting upon many waters? Read that next verse.
Revelation 17:15. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest were the whores, where the whore sitteth, are people, and multitude, and nation, and
Right, so the waters is symbolic of the nations. You know, and this is saying that, you know, that great whore is the one sitting on top, you know, truly controlling everything. Right, and you can see that by, you know, the monetary system. When you go into, you know, what country has the power of the entire world, you just got to look at the money. Right, the United States Federal Reserve, you want to call it that. So, let's go back to Isaiah 47.
I was wroth with my people, I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into my hand. Thou didst shew them no mercy, upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
Right, what is this talking about? This is talking about that transatlantic slavery. Right, it says, the Lord said, I was wroth with my people, I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into thine hand. Right, so the Lord was the one that put us in this condition, okay, that had these Edomites go over there to, you know, Africa, okay, and put us on those slave ships and send us over here. The Lord was the one that did that. You know, it was a curse that was written in Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. Okay, keep going.
And thou saidst, I shall be a lady.
No, read that verse again. I'll read it. It says, And given them into thine hand, thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient as thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Right? That's why the Edomites have to pay double. It's because they went above and beyond in what they're supposed to do in punishing us. You know, every single nation had their bidding in destroying the Israelites. You know, we were under the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, the Medes, the Assyrians, you know, all these nations, the Babylonians, you know, and, you know, we were in captivity, but they didn't fully destroy us. Now, when it came to the Edomites, these Edomites truly did destroy us as a nation, right? When you go and, you know, you read these books about the history, you know, how they were feeding, you know, our children to alligators, you know, as sport. And that's just the things that are written. Imagine the things that are not written. You know, everything that the Most High is able to see. So that's why he says that thou didst show them no mercy. Right? No mercy was shown to us. So no mercy is going to be shown to them. And, you know, this makes me think of Joel chapter 3. Go to Joel chapter 3. It makes me think of two scriptures. Joel chapter 3 and verse 6.
Well, 3 and verse 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have he sold unto the Grecians, that he might remove them from their border.
Right. And that's going into how, you know, when it's reading in that specific point, it's going to Tyre and Zidon, which Zidon was the son of Ham, which would be the Hamites, you know, so-called Africans. So it says that these Hamites sold the children of Judah and Jerusalem unto the Grecians, that ye might go far from the border. What is our border? You know, Israel. Okay, and where is that far from their border? Here in America, literally across the entire ocean. Unto the Grecians, aka Edomites. You know, so this is a well-documented event. This is not something that was random, you know, that was coincidence. No, it was written before it even happened that this was going to take place. And another spot that it talks about it is back in Jeremiah chapter 50 or 51. I think it's 50. Let's see if I can find it. Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 50 and verse 33. And verse 34.
Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast, they refused to let them go.
Right, so I really understand, this verse, you have to know some history. So the first point is, when were the times that the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together? So when were all 12 tribes oppressed together? You know the answer to that?
I don't.
The first time was in Egypt. Okay. In ancient Egypt under Pharaoh, that was when all 12 tribes were together, and that was when we were oppressed together. Now, this being written, this is written after all that happened. So when again were all 12 tribes oppressed together? When you do the history, you find that, the kingdom was split into two. The southern kingdom, went into the Babylonian captivity, went into the Medo-Persian captivity, went into the Greeks, the Romans, okay? And that was the kingdom that was here when Yahushua was on the scene. But it was the southern kingdom there on the east. Now, but what about the northern kingdom? What happened to the northern kingdom? It says in 2 Kings chapter 17 that the northern kingdom went under the captivity of the Assyrians. Right, so there's a split there. And it says that being in that captivity, they assembled themselves and came over to a land that a man had never inhabited before. Talking about here in the Americas. So when did all 12 tribes reunite? Here in America. Right? And when you go into the context of this chapter, it's talking about Babylon. So it all lines up to, what happened to our people. Right? The children of Judah and the children of Israel were oppressed together. This is the only place that fits that prophecy, that, fits it. Okay, talking about the slavery that we suffered. Read the next verse.
Their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts is his name. He shall truly plead their case, though he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon.
Right, so our Redeemer is strong. And he's coming to, destroy Babylon and save us out of this place. We just read that in Isaiah chapter 47. So this right here shows you that, this has been written, very detailed between multiple prophets. Same thing. And in order to truly understand the scriptures, you gotta pinpoint certain points, right? Precepts. Get a little bit over here, a little bit over there, and paint the whole picture. Right? It's like a puzzle. Okay, you can't just open up a puzzle and instantly just figure out how to do it. Now, first you gotta go, you gotta find the edge pieces, the flats. After you find all the flats, you start, finding points that connect to those flats, and you start building the image. That's the same thing with this word. Okay, you gotta go into this book and find the pieces and make that entire, story, the image, which was ultimately the prophecies. So let's go back to Isaiah 47.
Isaiah 47:7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things from thy heart, neither didst